Welcome to Top Talkers. We have a wonderful panel joining us once again. Trisha Owens from Majic 100, Leanne Cusack from CTV News at Noon, and Carson joining us from 93.9. And we are all siblings. We all have siblings, right? You have a younger brother.
Younger brother.
Yeah, I'm the baby of 4 girls.
Baby.
I have a younger sister, but I always tell everybody she's my older sister.
Oh, that's really nice of you.
She loves that. She loves that. She's in Florida right now. She's not watching, so I can talk anything about her.
You can say whatever you want.
Do you feel that you were treated differently, that there were different parenting styles? Because that is what has just come out in a new study. Over 400 families in Canada surveyed. We're looking at toddlers between the ages of 2 and 5. And the understanding that without us really knowing it or kind of saying that we think we're doing it, we are treating our kids differently, and they are picking up on it, and it does affect the whole family.
All right, so I would think, I mean, I was the more responsible one, I think, being A, the oldest, and B, the daughter. And so I think I was favored a little more than my brother was, although he didn't have as many rules, though, either. And I don't know if that's because he's male or he was the second one and they just didn't care as much. I don't know.
Parents do get tired. By the age, go and find wolves to raise you. Yeah.
What about you? I mean, especially coming with the same, all girls in the family.
Well, a lot ties into birth order. So because I'm the baby and there's a separation of 6 years between myself and my next sister, it's almost a little bit like being an only child. And also like you have a whole bunch of mothers who are saddled with the responsibility. So no, as a baby you get away with a lot, and you also sort of learn from their mistakes. Yes, you sort of realize you get more with honey than vinegar. And my parents were really worn out by the time I came along. So, but the whole discussion that we're having is about children observing favoritism and different forms of discipline. And I was chatting with the Wilkinsons who were just playing, and I asked whether or not they were treated differently as kids, and they said, well, different personalities, different kids, and that's what you always say.
Yeah, I have 2 girls, and we have a saying for them that I'm not allowed to say on air, because one is sweet as sugar, and the other one is sweet as something else.
Molasses?
It's amazing how they are so completely different, and so there's a lot more disciplining happening with the younger one. But when it happens with the older one, she feels it and she senses it, and they really play off of each other. And so reading this article, I'm realizing we have to be much more aware of how it's being done or how they feel the love or the energy, because they're saying that kids are really picking up on it. I mean, and for you, I mean, I know at home you got the, it's starting with you.
Yeah, and I think a lot of the times too it comes down to maybe the parents felt that they're approaching the parenting of the second child a little differently because they learned lessons from the first child, right? But I know people in particular that have 2 children and they have a favorite.
Oh, and it's often been said that parents do, they just don't want to admit it.
They won't admit it.
They do. They do.
Parents, you like them a little bit more. One of them a little bit more.
I am the favorite in my family, and the reason why, because I gave my parents their first grandchild. I'm the golden boy. I can do no wrong. I can get arrested in 5 minutes after this airs, and I will still be the golden boy.
Because you're a dad.
You know it.
Okay.
The thing, though, is the favoritism, and no parent is really going to outright say or think that they are are favoring one child more than the other. Instead, researchers took into account mothers' reports and observed how the family interacted with each other as they played with toys, as they read with each other, and they were able to see how one parent would be more engaged or non-engaged with certain children. And so you wonder, and we're dealing with so many issues as kids are growing up, if they're feeling it that young, how it would then translate into the rest of their lives.
Yeah, I don't know. I think that we've always had that fight, my brother and I, as to who's the favorite. And we throw that at my parents' face. It's like, oh, Trevor can get away with everything. And my mom always says, yeah, and he says the exact same thing about you, Trish. So clearly I've done something right, but I don't know.
She's playing them both off each other.
Yeah, that's it.
Well, it's all about energy, and you said that your eldest daughter sort of picks up the energy, even when you're maybe perhaps gently reprimanding the other daughter. Children, what's the old expression? If you want peace, choose peace, demonstrate peace. How many times?
I need to write that down.
No, you know what? You do spend a little bit of time quoting after the segments, and I love that about you, Cup. But no, it's true. The element that you were discussing is the fact that all children sense the tension, even if one child is being scolded.
And not only that, but I mean, kids nowadays are forced to deal with a lot more mature subjects than they would, say, when we were younger. So I think in a way, children are growing up a little faster than sometimes the parents can handle. And I know you try to be the young hip mom and dad, hey, I'm not that far away from you kind of thing, but in my case, there's 40 years between my son and I. So 20 years from now, is he going to want to hang around with a 60-year-old man that is too loud and
you will never
constantly getting in trouble with the law?
You will be 100 and you will never be 100. Like, yeah, you'll be the youngest old person around.
Thank you.
That's a compliment. Quote me
Sorry.
again.
Oh, we had a moment there.
You guys always have these little moments. You really do. But I think it's something that parents need to consider, and maybe just be. This is a nice reminder to be more aware of what is actually happening.
But isn't that tricky though? Because as you were mentioning, Leanne, each child is going to probably need different disciplinary measures.
But it's their personalities too, though, because the one that's sweet as sugar is also the really sensitive one, and so as being sensitive to it. The other one's being the devil, a complete devil, and then
don't put this one on YouTube.
We'll fix this in post. We'll fix this in post.
Luckily, she's just 5. She'll get over it. Yeah. She's the type of person that would be like, yeah, that's me. That's right. Do you want me to go to my room now and I'll just wait there for an hour and then I'll come home? Because I'm fine and do that.
Oh yeah, isn't she forcing you to grow? Isn't that what's so amazing about that parent-child dynamic, is that you're being forced to grow in a way that, I mean, who prepared you for that?
They don't, and they don't prepare you for nothing prepares you for any of this, but something you want to be able to
How do you feel right now?
I
can do this. Camilla Scott show. How does this make you feel?
Anyway, an interesting article, but interesting with the 400 families that it was evident with everything that they were seeing. Thanks to our panel once again.